And I have my... Ooh, it's not showing the proper... Let's refresh, reload. Here we go. Great. Let's get this to here. And now I'll take requests. I think this looks like a Judith or Frilled Mystic pick. I do like the Zertog Goblin as well, but there's no great common standing out to say, look at me. So we're probably just taking Judith and seeing if that goes where we want. Well, yeah. I'm not afraid of Rakdos. I don't know, like there seems like there's a Peacetime Fawn. Who said about not playing Rakdos? Yeah, we'll take Judith. We'll veer off of Judith if it doesn't seem right. But look, we got a Skewer or a Hackerbat, or probably the best card in the pack, the Law Mage's Binding. But there's no need to take Law Mage's Binding when we have something to go with our first pick rare. I just am curious whether people think Hackerbat or Skewer is the right direction here. Some love for Hackerbat, but it's about 50-50. Huh? Yeah, like two drops are so important, but is this really a 2-drop? I think we just have to take the removal. I like the Hackerbat a lot, but I like 3 damage anywhere a little more. Here's a Cavalcade and a Scorch Mark. There's Plague White. Plague White might be better for the deck than Scorch Mark. It's so important to be attacking on 3 to enable any jugglers we pick up that if we stick to Rakdos, I want to take the white. But the hybrid also says we could abandon Judith or splash Judith and look at the green-red path as well. Interesting. Support for the Scorch Mark. Oh, here, let me make life easier for the plumber here. And difficult for myself. Fair trade, though. All right, we'll call that good enough for now. Sorry. Yeah, so let's take the white. Scorch Mark is fine, but not as important to me as the white. And here's a Scorch Mark we can take. Cry is really out of place in Rakdos and Orzhov, so it's one of those. This is one of those bellwether type effects in a format where it can really vary widely how good the 1 black all creatures get -2/-2 effect is. And in this format, between the power level of the card and how it aligns with the black guilds, it just hasn't been a top priority. And yeah, I'd rather just have a Scorch Mark here. A lot of white-blue still available, but we have a Plague White here, so I'm happy. Take that. I'm not going to be taking a Shade, and we might splash a Thrall, so let's take the Thrall and keep that in mind. I'll take the splash card before the splash gate. Gravelhide is really just a 2/1 with what we've got going so far, but it's still the pick here. Another Cry. Here's why Rakdos is a lesser of the guilds, I think, is that the quality of its gold commons are not as high as the other guilds, and Rafter Demon is a big offender. Yeah, this is... Oh, we should check... Let's check our print run, of course. Haven't been doing that, like a chump. But here we find High Alert, and Cry of the Crinarium have Shark to Crab. So Simic, at least, has been taken out of this pack for what that matters. I think here we actually want the Gore Clan Wrecker over the Rafter Demon. What do you think? Where's chat at on this one? We'll split. Some people still want to try the Sweeper. I don't think sweeping. I don't think the Sweeper is the right play here. Rob says, "Hi, I started listening to LR after you left, but I listened to all the old episodes. I wanted to say it's awesome to get a chance to consume new content from you." Well, thank you, Rob, and thank you for going back and listening to the old content. It's a trooper. So yeah, I'm just going to take the Wrecker here. Not great, but we could play it, and that goes... Really don't want to play Transport, but... You know... Grudian is totally playable, but I'll take first Gate here. Over the Grudian. And... Ignis is not great, but I'm probably playing the Gravelhide, so there's no reason I wouldn't play the Ignis and have the, at least, ability for a relevant effect there. Yes, back when we broadcast on the Woodgrain Radio. Doesn't feel like a Locket type of guild, but I suppose it's more likely than that that card. And this is playable. We can run that. Fireblade Artist versus Flames of the Raised Boar. This isn't really a Flames of the Raised Boar deck as much as it is a... I think Fireblade is the pick here. Worth noting the Gathering, I suppose. Is Judith any creature? Yeah, so... Oh, non-token creature. It's not any creature. It's non-token. I was thinking Judith might combo with Goblin Gathering, but she does not. Not the way we want. Yeah, we're going to take Flameblade here. Or Fireblade, rather. Hopefully we wheel the Roustabout, but we want another white here. We'll take as many of these as we can get, basically. What's disturbing me is the lack of jugglers. I would like a juggler now, please. Thank you. No juggler, but we can take an inheritance. Thank you for the follow. Yep, Plumber's in the background doing work. Try the inheritance here. Nice, get the point, but also another skewer, so we could just take the skewer. And there's also a 5-drop. I'm not too into the 5-drops. I would rather take a skewer or this 5-drop. First get the point or second skewer? What do you think about this one? We could also take the guild... No, we're not going to take it here, but maybe we'll wheel the guild gate to... We have this Thrall in the sideboard. Mostly you want the skewer. I'm with you. It goes to the face. It's cheaper. It's doing the job that Rakdos really wants done, which is either clearing the path to attack, or once you get that attack through, being just hyper-efficient removal. So I'm going to take skewer here, actually, over get the point. Another gate over a wrecker. Makes sense to me. Now we're getting more gates than I want. You know, this is probably the pick. This is best 2 of 3, and if they are on the big creature plan, we could totally play an Embrace. I don't think we're main decking it, but we're also too aggro to want too many more gates, so I'm going to prioritize the Embrace as a great sideboard card. And here we go, like this. Roustabout there is nice and straightforward. We're not doing any gatey type stuff. So here we have Mockery versus Roustabout. Mockery has done some good stuff, but it's really a glorified act of treason. And a more difficult to set up act of treason. versus just another 3-drop to fill out our curve. We can also, yes, we can also take the gate here to potentially support this Thrall, but I'm not too interested in trying to get the Thrall in as opposed to trying to get a nice, tight, low-to-the-ground hyper aggro Rakdos deck, so I think Roustabout is where we're at here. It's Gathering or Vampire. I think it's probably too late to start Gathering. I can't remember if we saw any other ones in this pack, but probably too late, so let's just take the Vampire. There's the other Roustabout. Wheeling. Collision is definitely a card for our sideboard, at least, since we can bring it in against flyers. Here's a gate we can take. Nothing matters here. I like where we're at so far. We're at 17 playables after 2 packs. I think we should have a fine deck after all is said and done here, if we can get a little help. This is a pretty weak pack to open, I gotta say. Tome of the Guild Pact is not anything we're gonna be... I thought it might be that gold creatures get +1/+1, in which case we could start counting, because we do have a fair number of gold creatures, but it is not that one. So probably just taking the Footlight Fiend here, or the Grotesque Demise. I kind of missed that. I guess it's the Grotesque Demise. We're doing pretty good on 2-drops. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 6 2-drops, and no jugglers yet anyway. So I think I want the removal. Clamor Shaman is just what this deck is up to, basically. So we're gonna grab that. Bring in this Gruul Contractor to do some Rakdos work. Still looking for a juggler here. Dodger is okay, but the mana cost is real. You want to get your Spectacle on, ideally without having to spend mana. Another Ill-Gotten Inheritance would really be nice, a curve topper for this deck. But removal is removal, so there's also another opportunity for a Grotesque Demise, or we can go a little bigger, and but I think Recluse is just not on the table for discussion here. I love that we're topped at 4, and that maybe we try and even cut this 4. People like the Inheritance. Regarding rare drafting, on Friday we rare drafted intentionally in every one of our 3 Guilds of Ravnica draft because we had 4x of all rares and mythics of that set, so every rare and mythic we drafted represented gems, 20 for each rare and 40 for each mythic. I have backed off from... I wanted to do that experiment dedicated through that day, but we don't need to keep doing it. I think the most important thing for anybody is to have the most fun they can get for their dollar, and I think it's more fun for me as a drafter and you for stream viewers when we take the cards that are best for our deck, not best for... that's my Waterdeep notification. Not best for gems, but I think it's important to understand the system so that people for whom gems are the most important thing, they can rare draft if they want to. And I do think that your gem EV is going to be better rare drafting early. It's possible... Hey, Nantuko, good morning. Riddles, thank you for the sub. It's possible that, like, pack 3, pick 1, if you see a card that's like... You know, you're an heavy Izzet spells deck, and pack 3, pick 1 contains a Mystic, you know, the uncommon that just makes that deck sing, and a junk rare. You may be getting more than 20 gems worth of value to take the Mystic in that spot. It's really hard to say, but it's pretty hard to argue against taking the rare first out of like pack one, pick one, because if you're drafting the hard way, Ben Stark style, you're going to veer off of your first pick a good 50% of the time anyway. You don't. I think I think as players we generally don't veer off of our first picks enough, myself included. Hello, Judith. Not that we should have here, but the point is the value of your pack one, pick is significantly lower than your pack three, pick one pick because you don't know where you are yet. So that would be my advice if you're money tight and really want to be gem aware when you're drafting and you have the play sets, then that's what I would think about that. But let's get back to this. Sure, we'll take Ill-Gotten. Curve into Ill-Gottens and punish them. I guess we take the Consign or the Rubble or the Recluse here. Maybe we play this. I like topping at 4. I kind of want to make a 16 lander that tops at 4. For that, we need 4 more picks, which I think we'll get. But just in case, if we don't, I think I would rather have the Recluse than the Consign. So I'm going to take the Recluse and hopefully put it in the board there. And here we go. This is playable. This is a playable 2, playable 3. Let's look at our curve. I still just want playable 2s, I think, even though we have, like I said, we had 6, but I'll take 7. 7 2s into a bunch of 3s. Let's just take the Trumpeter.
I'm not going to be able to get 2-inch-and-a-half pipes until 4.
Spear Spewer. I'm down on it, and you know, I'd be a little more tempted if we did again have jugglers. I think our big tragedy of this deck is we have no blade jugglers whatsoever, and we have only 2 more picks to find one. But we'll take a Dagger Caster here, and then maybe we pick up the instant speed Death Touch trick, and at least have a Plague Wind on our side, lurking in the deck somewhere. And if not, it's not the worst to just run a Dagger Caster. I think I would run a 3rd Guild Gate, although it's pushing it. We might just want a Storm Strike for the combat trick. Yeah, I think 2 gates is where I want to stop with such a low down deck. So I'm not going to worry about this Guild Gate, and we're going to take a Storm Strike, and because it's definitely a playable trick. Hey, look, a Blade Brand. Just what we asked for. So this is the combo. For those of you who aren't aware of it, Blade Brand gives target creature Death Touch until end of turn. Dagger Caster ETBs, dealing 1 damage to opponent's creatures. So with the damage on this trigger on the stack, you give it Death Touch. Looks like we may have had enough gatherings to play, like we might have had 3 or something. I think our deck's great though, so it's all coming together here. We're gonna have to make a nice cut here at the end. This is probably a Grudian pick, and maybe we start this in the board and bring this in against big decks. And Tin Street Dodgers. Are we in Dodger? I think we're in Dodger land. Again, we don't really have a lot of spectacle, but I think we might still run this, and if not, we're not running a 6. We're gonna run 16 land and make this lean and mean. And we'll figure out exactly what that means when it comes to the cuts. But that was what's driving my pick there. And yeah, sorry, Blade Brand plus Judith. If multiple things are gonna die, it turns all of Judith's pings into Death Touch pings. Wow, that's playable also. But again, we'll probably start this in the board. Four cuts here. I think that's 1. And let's take a look at our creature count. 18 and 8. So we can make cuts wherever we want, really. With Judith, we like a creature-heavy lean. But it doesn't have to be that creature heavy. We can get rid of our worst creatures here, like maybe 1 of these vamps. Maybe even 2. That leaves 16, 8. And I still gotta cut land, so we do that. Could just be that. Looks like a tight little deck. These are a little weak or whatever, but you know, they do their job. Rob, you shouldn't have to. Arena is actually pretty... I'll get into that when the vacuum is off. Hold on. If you're paranoid and you really don't want Arena to mess you up, then yeah, you can go into control. You can either hit control to stop it for your next move, or you hit hold down control and then hit shift, and it'll lock it into full control mode. But basically, when something goes on the stack, if you have the mana to do an instant speed effect, it'll give you the chance to do it. You don't need to put on full control to Blade Brand. There was no update needed. Was it? Are you suggesting, Peacetime, that it was ever in a spot where if you didn't hold down full control with 6 mana, you couldn't pull off Daggercaster Blade Brand? Huh. Wow. That's yeah. Well, they should just change that throughout. I mean, I'm gonna make a note. Actually, I'm gonna talk to some people, because the only times I get screwed by lack of hitting full control is when something goes on the stack, and I assume that because something goes on the stack, they're going to let me respond to it. So I don't know why when something is on the stack and you have an instant that you could cast, it wouldn't 100% of the time just give you that option. So if pause. Okay. Anyway, it should, for now, you shouldn't even have to. The question is, anything here wrong for main deck? Let's see, we could... I don't want to run this unless... This is what I was thinking this morning when I knew the plumber was going to be coming right at 10 o'clock. And also it makes sense for Judith, so it's a little double joke on the name there. Yeah, I think this is fine. What's up?
Is this a sink over here? I'm wondering if I could snake it from the sink drain.
If that's your next stop, I can get some kids up and working on clearing that for you. If you want to try that.
Yeah, man, because this ain't gonna work.
Okay. Be right back, chat. Hold on. So here we have Roustabout, Grotesque Demise, or Ignis plus Fiend. There's something you've said for Ignis plus Fiend if we intend to demise the Oligarch. But this is the same amount of damage. I'm gonna play the 3-drop. And then next turn we have the option of Demise plus Fiend. And I'm going to be on mute a bit here, I think. I need to kind of multitask between making moves in this game and moving some stuff to support the plumber's work. So this will be a nice back and forth. I'll be right back. Thank you. Sorry for the rude awakening. The plumber would like to try and snake through this stream, which means we have to be careful with mom's stuff and move. Like, if you want to move the big stuff off and out and away so that I can move the more delicate stuff. But I'm going to be going back and forth from making moves on my stream to helping you with that. Oh, and I thought I was on mute. Well, you guys hear the plan with the plumbing now. I'm thinking about casting and using the Ignis to steal the messenger and get in for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right now, and then having Wrecker on haste next turn, plus this stuff, I think should be enough. I'm going to be super aggressive and see how that plays. Main deck 3-7, huh? Well, if we attack, this gets in for 1 for sure. This gets in for 1 for sure. This gets in basically for 2 for sure because they can't really block it unless they die. And then, so if it goes block, maybe it goes block, block, gets through. I think we just have to keep going with the plan. I no longer am sure that this plan fully does what we want, but we're going to stick with it. We got a lot of, we got 2 outs to, you know, burn off the top. But this also puts them to 1 with the Fiend out, right? So I think this is good for us. They can't block the Wrecker.
You good?
Hey, Jag. We're doing it all here today on Going Optimal. Solving plumbing problems, waking children to get free labor.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good for now, but stay on standby. Thank you. And we're up against Orzhov. It's got some control elements. Not good for the Embrace. This is why we started this in the board. We do not want it for matchups like this. 1 toughness is generally rough with all those spirits, so we're going to leave those in the board as well. Grudian doesn't do much against these, despite the presence of their 3/7. We could take Mockery, because, right, like, we sacrifice their Afterlife dude, and we get the creatures, right? So that's something to consider. But I think that's cute, not necessarily good. I think that's just cute. So we'll just run it back. I do stream from a standing desk. Had a standing desk at Wizards for a while, but didn't have the standing pad for it, so I didn't use it that much. Now that I have the proper standing pad, if anything, I use my standing mode too much. My knees and legs have started to feel it in ways that are probably not best for me, so I've been trying to actually sit more when I'm off air. But I really do like standing while I'm on the air. All right, picked up a swamp. Just what we wanted. If they set up a good blocker, we'll play the Shaman next. If not, we get to Roustabout and then follow with the Shaman, and that's amazing for us. So hopefully they don't come up with a blocker here on their mulligan. Man, Valhalla, or Jagstow. Such a great spot for us that Oppo has done nothing in, through 3 turns, and we have 2 creatures and a Clamor Shaman in hand. Yeah, I don't blame them. They didn't even see the Shaman, but they were in serious trouble, having failed to put anything up against that open. Y'all are lucky doesn't have smell-o-vision in here. 1 second. Alright, we have a new way into the drain. He's going to come at it from the side sink. Oh man, I haven't updated any of my info here. A little distracted today, obviously. Played the whole first game in the wrong place and have no good info. So we are 1-0. We are Free to play one. This is a professional operation, folks. Professional. We are RNA best of 3. Look at that. Is that so hard, Ryan? Well, our opponent goes first, and we are... This is so close to being an awesome hand, but it would be a little too... Like, if we had 2 swamps or something, I would keep this, but I think we have to give this up. Yeah, that looks a little better. And we'll keep our double skewer. A little awkward to not have a play on 2 in your Rakdos deck, but we can Blade Brand when shields are down. I don't want to Blade Brand while they have mana up, but now we can. And we'll probably just blow up the sneak. I have to do it this way because we only have 1 source of red. Although, they're never blocking in a million years. If they do, we could just Scorch Mark. But, it's not like we're doing 2 things this turn anyway, so let's just kill it. Spectacle graphics seem pretty controversial. Some people thought it didn't seem very spectacly. I'm like, have you looked at the images in Rakdos? Like, there's chains in every single one. I think it's great. It's very chain-heavy circus, the Rakdos circus. Well, that looks like a wonderful little Scorch Mark target, and we are again a little annoyed that we have but the 1 red, because all of our spells are red, so we only get 1 spell per turn here. I really think it should just be the Scorch Mark, though, sad as it is. I guess, yeah, we might be able to take a 5, or at least threaten a block that they don't want to make. The advantage of doing something like the Roustabout is they might not want to attack into it, or we can take 5 if we want to do that. We use most of our mana, and then next turn, if we do draw another mountain, we have a 2-play turn. I suppose we have a 2-play turn if we draw a mountain no matter what play we make here, though, so I'm just going to go with the Scorch Mark and kill the big thing and keep attacking. Well, we can play Judith and attack, and then if the Dodger dies, Judith just finishes off the Creeper. Oh, I guess it becomes a 2-1 anyway. Judith's good. Still with the swamps. Why the swamps? I guess we do this, play another swamp, and then we'll take 6 next turn. We can just block here and kill it. I'll make this trade. Judith doing work. Jagstow, go stand in a corner and stare at the wall for 1 minute. Then you may come back to the stream. Oh, really, Oppo? Roustabout again. This time it does not allow to kill the Scuttlegator, but still the play. Well, finally more red, but does it matter now? If we attack with the 4-2, we might just have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're close to being able to adapt here, and then things get real bad for us. So I think we go ahead and send in Fireblade and Roustabout and finish off Scuttlegator with the Skewer, regardless of how Oppo blocks. That's my plan. Non-different feature you control, so we don't get 3, we only get 2. Okay, well, don't know what they've got here, but we'll see if we are stable. Well, we'll see if they get stable. I guess we're stable. The question is, do they take that back? Oh, well, we do get our favorite. Unfortunately, that was very good for them. And can't really justify attacking the Judith here. Sorry, I'm muting you to protect your ears from the rooting. I was saying, with only 1 green, I wasn't sure what they were attacking with a hybrid for, and I was willing to make that trade. I could demise the hybrid now in case Oppo straight up draws a forest, but we could still do it in response in that case. I just don't want to get into that game of chicken particularly. And if they don't, yeah, I will. Because if they draw it, then they're definitely going to do it, and we can use the grotesque demise. And if they don't draw it, we may want to demise something more important than a hybrid that can't currently be adapted. sorry, gang, we're having a lot of muted problems here as I'm doing a lot of toggling. Maybe I'll just let it go. I'll stay unmuted and you can just deal with the plumbing noise. You can suffer through it with me. What a weird deck Oppo has got going. The old Goblin Token Clear the Mind combo. They haven't shown anything to stop the Storm Strike trick from working unless they drew it right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the block and assume this Storm Strike is good. And yeah, that's good against those tokens. Now we'll see. Yeah, it looks like some kind of gate concoction. Maybe they'll drop a gate here. Get that sneak through. They're being deliberate, choosing their mana carefully. Why did they want to do it that way? They wanted to leave this open? Interesting. What's going on with the card in hand, I wonder? Well, Oppo keeps finding things to hold back our strategy, so we can't deal with that rubble belt right now. We're gonna... Oh. Yeah? Okay. I guess that's the attack I was expecting, and we'll no-block this. Oh, Rakdos deck full of land. Let's see. If we attack, we cannot... We're just dead on the crackback, so now we have to stay back. Anyway. No, Plumber is here. Let's see. Do we have to trade everything for the Recluse here? We go block, block, and then ping, 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 and they're left with a Gateway Sneak and 2 cards in hand. That's probably enough to just wreck us. But I don't know how we win by going to 2 here. I think we're just losing this one, but this play is what makes the most sense to me. Well, really want to get something in the way of this sneak, or we're in serious trubs. Yeah, not looking good for the home team now. All the hybrids have come back for them. I guess we do this, and can we afford to do this? If we make a 3/3, we get to block something, so yeah, we got to do this. And we don't just get a random win by being lucky on that. No. Alright, so we're +1/+1 counter here. And trade for this. Well, I guess we have to block the hybrid. It's chump time. Hey, one sec. What's up?
Alright.
let's see. We want the embrace. So they have some small stuff too, but probably that and that over like maybe one of these and a wrecker. Mockery might have a role here though. Over even like a Dodger. Not too impressed with what the Dodger's done here. I'm going to try this. They do shuffle their graveyard, huh? Maybe just this then. I want the Dodger off though. Oh, come on, deck. That's better. It was hard to get too much worse. Clamor Shaman is pretty great, but I think we just have to go find land. I'm expecting a Soroform hybrid here, which we will happily embrace, especially with no other thing to do on 3. Not the best embrace ever, but it's not going to get any better. Well, shoot. Now we're going to wait. Huh. If we embrace now, we get in for 2 and get him to 16. But if we wait, next turn we get to Daggercaster, take out the Wayfinder, and then maybe get him to sack a Sneak, which is going to be a much better use of this embrace, but it involves basically doing nothing for the time being. But I think that's worth it. I don't like being down a game and not being aggressive with my Rakdos deck, though, but it's just not where this is going anyway. So I am going to play patient and work towards the caster. Maybe we find the Blade Brand and work towards a Plague Wind or something. If they attack with the Wayfinder, I might just take the trade and then embrace now. But no, okay. We're going to decline that. Now we're getting a little red flooded with our all black hand now, but and we get to attack with the Artist. I'm happy to get this Artist attack in, and you know, if they play a gate, okay. Okay, we don't have a 2-spell turn. We are pretty happy with either sacrifice. If they sacrifice Homunculus, they're probably not going to block either way. We can save this. Feel that in my gut. Can also play the Wrecker. I'm going to play the Wrecker here. And give it a counter. Means we can't attack, and again, but you know, they're at 15, which is not bad for not being able to attack as much as we'd like here. This screams of a pump spell. But the biggest one is like +3/+3, so let's assume this is a 4/6. If it's a 4/6 and we put everything we've got on it, they only get one creature. So I think I'm going to do that. What else could it be? It could be the... I mean, I got all the colors, basically, so there's a lot of things that could be here. But I'm having a hard time figuring out how we're going to get super punished for this. +4/+2. Okay, so if it's +4/+2, they get a 2-for-1, but it's still dead. And then it's a 2-for-2, and I can live with that. So yeah, that's okay too. I think we gotta say what you got. This hybrid looks like it's going to be a problem. But I'm going to embrace... Let's embrace. And probably they just drop the Aeromunculus. This certainly lets us know whether they have a 6th land or not. Really? Okay, I guess they don't have a 6th land, and we will not bother with an attack. Sure glad they sacrificed their 6/6. This is not the role Ill-Gotten Inheritance is supposed to play, but it's what we're doing, I guess. I think we're losing this one. Unfortunate. I think our deck is better than what's going on here, but their hodgepodge of stuff plus our flood is really doing a number on our ability to win this one. Yeah. Not that this is the high point of power, but also frustrating to lose to so much. There's a lot of low power stuff going on here, but I guess only the Acrobat this turn. Weird deck. What were my thinking? What were they thinking? My guess is 2-0, baby. He is sawing into a panel behind the drain to... basically, we're having trouble snaking the clogged drain because it's an old, weird drain with a tight, early 90-degree bend that they just can't get a snake around. So he's looking for other ways to access the clog point. Because if we If we can't access it through drains, they got to access it through jackhammering our floor. So this is all a lot of effort to avoid jackhammering the floor. Yeah, losing O2 to that deck is not my favorite thing that's ever happened to me on stream. But this is Magic. We got a bit flooded there, and frankly, a lot of their random stuff happened to line up pretty well with what we were trying. Is it worse to accidentally attack with all your creatures rather than accidentally not attack? It is generally worse. I only ask sometimes I wish the button to attack all was on tops and that no attacks was on the bottom, so when you click through, you don't accidentally attack all. There's no... The nature of this drain location, it's not tied into the major network that you'd be able to use the normal clean out. I'm thinking it might be easier to just nuke this house from orbit and move to another planet. That's plan A right now.
I'm agreeing.
Plumber agrees. Certainly is interesting around here today. Come on, we are getting worked over by the draws. I know we're on 16 land, but this is punished. Opponent is going first. We have 2 draws to find a land for a couple of early plays and then cycling. I'm actually going to keep this. We have both our colors, and we have 2 draws for a land to get our hand going. The odds of us having this turn out fine are solid. We can even... I mean, this isn't working out, but if we hit our strong chance of a second land by turn 2, I think we would be in amazing shape. And that's the trade-off there. So, yes, it looks like a risky keep, and when keeps like that fail, they just look terrible. It looks like, what the heck were you thinking? Obviously, you can't win a game on 1 mana, dummy. But the upside there was really good. And we're not even out of it yet. I'm going to go with Roustabout here to use all our mana without exposing our best card. Also, Judith is a great play to make after you've played out some creatures. If we draw a land, we'll go Plague White Ignis even. No land. They are in trouble now, so I'm actually going to drop Judith to max our mana while they are obviously struggling. Excuse me. Yeah, we started off more screwed, but Oppo has taken that mantle. And I think this game is ours. Well, this is why I kept just a tiny trickle of land, and our hand looked absurd. We don't really care. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We don't even need this, though, because this will die and produce that. Make him have something else here. Then you need, like, a fight card also. Thank you for the follow, Goofy Hat. Alright, kept a 1-lander, discarded 2 cards, and still won, because magic. Zach says, I had an issue the other day. I tried to do the Daggercaster Blade Brand combo, and for some reason the game didn't allow me to respond to Daggercaster's ETB trigger to put Blade Brand on the stack. Anybody else have this happen? We were talking about that earlier. And I didn't think it had that problem, but the way to solve it is to go into full control mode. So you hold down the control key and then hit shift, and you'll be in locked full control, and then you'll be sure to be able to do it. But I've heard somebody in chat said that they fixed that and it works now, but if you're not trusting it, and I don't blame you, I don't blame you if you did mistrust it. And full control is the way to do it in that case. So we have, what are we up against? We are up against Simic. Simic probably wants the same thing we did last time with these 2 in and like this Dodger out and 1 Roustabout out. And I'm going to think about taking that Dodger out of the deck from the main deck. I just don't think it's earning its keep. Yeah, I don't know. If Zach got burned by it, I would just say if you want to be safe, that's how to be safe. This is a terrible Rakdos hand. It's prone to flood, and it doesn't have any pressure. So I'm actually going to mulligan this. This is more like it. Pressure. We'll make the Goblin here, then next turn we get Hasty Fireblade plus a Mountain for the Storm Strike trick at the ready. And that could be very good for us here. And almost regardless, if Oppo doesn't block, then we can just skewer that thing. We're going to decline. We do have another less impressive but still effective combo here we're going to do. Going to go Death Touch and First Strike. And with the Scorch Mark, what have we seen? I don't think we're seeing the creatures from here that we're going to want to be Scorch Marking, so I'm going to make that go away. I don't think that's gonna hit its mark. I'm gonna decline this for now, but that might be how we get there eventually. Let's make the Roustabout. Plumber is getting stuff from the van, so expect noises to continue shortly. We have no attacks here. We're not going to bluff anything. Oppo has something on, oh, there you go. Has Titanic Brawl. Well, that's no good. Probably losing this one. That was a devastating couple of plays back to back, the Stony Strength and the Frilled Mystic. So we're just in deep levels of trouble now. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is the Rakdos Circus that we're at. Yeah, I probably should have scried before drawing on that sequencing. We're done here. This deck doesn't have the ability to come back from this situation. Not with Flying Creeper. Put back in the Roustabout and actually cut the Wrecker. We could bring in the Flyer Killer, maybe over Scorchmark even. Although Scorchmark had its targets. I don't know if this is worth it for just, we saw Aeromunculus. I mean, there's Cynic. They're going to have other stuff in the air, right? We should probably run that. And we're on 1510, so we got to cut a non-creature if we do that. It'll either be... Yeah, it's got to be the Scorchmark or the Blade Brand or the Storm Strike. Storm Strike seemed useful, though. But they know about it now. I'm going to try this. We'll mix it up this way. Storm Strike was good, but we've used it. Now they'll maybe play around it, and we can get some value out of it without it even being in our deck. All right. Come on, Rakdos. Give us a nice, tight draw. Here we go. Come on. Man. Well, let's see what we can do from here, but I don't like the mulligan position we got put in. This is a happy draw, but we're going to start actually with a Trumpeter, and this could be Fairy. If this is Fairy, I lose the Goblin, so I'm not even going to attack into it. We'll just play out the Trumpeter. I'll do it when we have Judith out. Really? Yeah? Cool. I wonder if they have an answer for Judith right now to be willing to make that trade, although why? No, they must not, or else they wouldn't have. Well, Oppo is stuck on 3 again. We are going to... We could Scorchmark... But I have a feeling they might be on, the stony trick. I'm going to attack just with the... Well, if they have the stony trick, the demise works no matter what. I'm going to cast the demise, and then I'm going to... it seems bad to use demise when we have a scorch mark, though. But I also really want to attack with Judith if it's clear to do so. So that's what's crossing me up here. Whether we want to risk it. I wish I'd been paying a little better attention to pauses on opponent's end step. We would be able to suss out whether they had the Stony Silence or not. We can also probably suss it out from... Let's do a full control attack. And see. Okay, there was no pause, so I'm going to Scorch Mark. He's got it? Oh, wow. Blown out by my own efforts to suss out his tricks. Really, I thought he must have done the past turn or something. Or maybe I misread it. But the whole reason I did that was to try and clear that plan of action. So I think it's the first time I've been misled by my information in that spot. I mean, you can call it a 2 for 2, but when one of the 2s is Judith, it just feels like it was a million for 1. You did? I didn't. I didn't as we left attackers, so maybe I just... Oh, maybe it's because they don't stop and declare attackers. That's my problem. Okay. You saw it in declare attackers, and I was paying attention at a time where it didn't pause for them. That was the problem. We'll play Roustabout here. I think we're in some trouble now, but maybe Ill-Gotten... I was going to say maybe, and then we see the 5/5. So now we're going to need some Death Touch help, I think, to win this one. Yeah, if I said Ill-Gotten Gains, I meant Inheritance. Come on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jag. So it's just the lesson there is that you can't do the soul read during declare attackers as the attacker because it doesn't pause for them. Really unfortunate because we had the blowout. We had the reverse blowout. The plan was either to exile if they didn't have it and wait if they did, and we just got the wrong intel. Now, I think we have to demise the Beastmaster and then try to embrace the Rendhorn or whatever bigger thing they throw out. Let's demise here. Ill-Gotten Gains is a magic card, that's why. Spiral into no creature, no creature, no creature, no creature, no! Well, we can attack with the Trumpeter, and if they want to double it, we get to take out the Engineer, and then we get to embrace the Rendhorn, and I think that's worth it. So let's send in the Trumpeter and see what Oppo does about it. Yeah, this is great. Happy to make this trade. And we get the Plague White on top of it. They kept a card on top. That's pretty bold. They're saying what's on top helps them out of this. Let's see what they get. Whew. Well, I'm really glad the mistake of trying to read pauses didn't cost us the match there. That would have been really annoying because we had the play for both instances. We just needed to read the pauses correctly, and I didn't. But we learned something super important about it, so that's good for the future. And we get to move to 2-1 on this deck, which is great. Got the free-to-play account to some gemmage, and then we'll see if we can get it to the buy-in back. I don't know that name, but if you go to the MTG wiki, they have pretty good details on everybody who's ever worked on a Magic set. Or they have those details. They don't necessarily have great details on each individual. And it's funny, we had like a red-black quest, I think, so obviously we completed that. But let's see if we can get to a buy-in back before I stop for some lunch. Okay. Actually, kind of the weekend of our deck. If you ask me what my 18th through 23rd cards are, they'd probably include these three. But at least we have a nice mix of land and spells and all of our colors, so we'll go for it. Oh, and I didn't change out the deck to remove that 1/1 I'm not liking. I mean, it's probably going to go on all day. If it's really annoying, I think the show should just go on here, and it is what it is. If I have a low viewer count today because the noise is too much, then so be it. But here I am playing Magic. But I will take a little straw poll. Do you want me to use mute more? Right now I'm keeping unmuted and just dealing with the noise, but I can easily mute this stuff when it's happening. So if you'd rather I just ease your pain, we can spend more time on mute. Maybe a counter here, but whatever. Not our most important creature. Alright. Seems like a fairy or Stony Silence. Anyway, we know they have instant for 2 mana here. Alright, we'll keep the torture going. Could be a fairy, but we'll see. I don't think the fairy can actually kill anything here. It just prevents some damage, so that's fine if it's a fairy. If they go fairy plus counter, then I think our Storm Strike actually does some work. What are they up to? Well, we're going to keep casting our stuff. That's great for us. They used an entire card to turn our 3/3 Menace into a 3/3. Spending a card to remove the keyword Menace is not a great use of mana and card, in my opinion. Actually, I feel like Monty Python is about to launch a cow onto somebody. That's what this all reminds me of. Would have been a lot better to just do that during, well, maybe not. Maybe not a lot better. I guess it's the same difference for Oppo. That's fine with us, though. Simic deck getting a slow start here. They're going to try and block one of our 3/2s and we get the Storm Strike, so... Or they're not going to be able to block anything because we're just going to do this. Simic, Simic, Simic. Didn't see any flyers yet. We can assume they're in there with Simic, but let's wait until we see it. Actually, Storm Strike's been doing work here, so we'll keep it in. Storm Strike gets to keep their job for now. Looks great. Want another land, but we have both our colors, and we're going to get our Plague Whites on. Plague Whites plus Storm Strike. Can't be blocked, obviously. Not ever. Ah, so more Azoric. Maybe green was a splash? I don't know. Maybe Azorius is a splash. We'll see soon enough, I suppose. Choke. No choke. Not choke. Quench. We've seen another pause, though, so we got to think about what that means. And it was a pause with no creature on the table. So it was something that didn't even need a creature to create a pause. I was going to play the 3, but we can just Storm Strike here and get the Duelist out of the way. And add another white, which should be plenty of trouble for Oppo. Next turn we should get Roustabout plus a 1 mana 3 damage if we want it. Like, maybe they play a Senate. Oh, okay, that's cool. I'm down with that, too. With nothing to skewer, I'm considering the Inheritance, but we really just want to get our creatures down. A little less mana efficient, but I think correct. I mean, we just get to attack here. It's amazing. These Plague Whites are something else. And I'm going to skewer the Eel and add another Roustabout. And then I just don't know how Oppo gets out of it from here. They're going to have to tap out or tap mostly down, and that leaves us to be able to cast the Inheritance. I mean, I thought they might have a fairy, but it doesn't really matter here. Icicle, if you're new here today, we are experiencing the joys of home repair while we stream today. We have a plumber going on. They're looking for help. That's a great sign for us. I think this is ours. Well, they have a creature to play. So they do have blocks, but not looking good for them. It's mist magic. All right, nice. 3-1 for the free-to-play deck. So we have achieved buy-in back. All hail buy-in back. Yeah, there was no activation possible there. Ooh, I'm going to put on my jacket. A lot of doors opening and closing here today, too. So even with the Furnace Dragon in effect, it's a little chilly. The creatures represented far more damage per turn than the Inheritance did. The Inheritance, for me, is the curve topper for Rakdos. You dump your hand and apply as much pressure continuously as you can with your creatures, and then you finish with the Inheritance. Your Inheritance is like the last thing you want to be playing in a Rakdos curve out. Assuming your creatures are getting through. Keep this, and we just have to hope. Right on, Jag. Thank you. Come on, one more untapped land off the top. Basic land off the top for Judith. Heck, basic land in the next 2 turns off the top for Judith. We get Smelt Ward even if we don't get Judith, so could be worse. And looks like we have yet another Simic. There was a pause there. Maybe they have a fairy. I'll play the Trumpeter as a better anti-fairy card than the Ignis. I guess it was just Growth Spiral, not a fairy. Could have been both, but that certainly explains what we just saw. Not looking great for us. We really needed to see the land there, but I guess we have to do this. We can't really beat a ram. I'm going to 2-for-1 ourselves to see if Oppo will give us even a chance to, but they're not even giving us a chance. Locket, not the worst, and no gate, also not the worst. We've had some good 7s. Been a little bit rough on the opening hands, but we have had some decent 7s. No need to even show them that yet. Still worried about that fairy. But if they have one, they have one. I'm going to attack into it. Maybe I shouldn't be looking to trade here because we have Judith coming up where the trades will get a lot better. But mission accomplished, we do get rid of the ram. Hey, Double D's, welcome. That's obviously a big-time problem for us. Not sure what we do about that, but besides lose. Yeah, I actually should do this. Let's see. We have Tuesday, where are we? Are we losing yet? Are we dead yet? Are we just dead? I guess this allows a chump block. Let's see. Spinal Guide is working on a notice here. 0 for that. 76. 130. So dead we are. The gate deck. What do we do about a good gate deck besides lose to it? We attempt to put a Death Toucher in front of the problem, although that Death Toucher cannot block that problem. I don't know, man. I think we're in trouble. I guess it blocks the ram, though. Actually, I like Wrecker over Dodger. Jag asks, how do I feel about the RAM from a design perspective? Does it seem overpowered purely because we've been playing Arena, or is it actually fine? I think the gate... I think they're a little overpowered. I think the Ram could be 4 mana for given limited, but I think we're also pretty arena slanted. I think it's going to be a lot more fine in in live play. I don't want that text to be too big. Let's see, is that too big? Maybe that's too big. Hey, look, we can put it right over that. That's funny. There's a keeper. Sorry, Oppo. Sorry, people. Thought it was on Oppo. Gonna make it a little more... Curving out nicely, we have Storm Strike plus Smelt Ward next turn. Or Gravelhide. This could be another fairy. If it is, we have Storm Strike if we want to kill it. It doesn't look like it is. We'll throw down the Gravelhide as less valuable than the Smelt Ward, so if it gets countered or whatever, yeah, like no big deal there. Preference would be Oppo had no turn to play, but that's not the worst right there. Gatebreaker Ram, a little more worsty. They're not going to block here, and if they find a third gate, they may go ahead and attack into the Roustabout, and we would get a Storm Strike in that instance. I want to pass quickly to disguise the availability of my trick, but we just paused right there. All right, well, we're going to give it a try. They might counter. This could end up being a 2-for-1 against with all this mana open, but I think we have to try against this deck. Get rid of that. All right, that's a sweet result. Now, I was talking about playing my creatures before Inheritance. That was when I had a 3-power creature that could deal a lot of damage to an empty board over the Inheritance. We've seen Quench, so we may want to even try and play around Quench. But I think we're going to risk it here and make him have it. Yeah, it's still overpowered, and the Gate deck is overpowered in paper when it comes together, Jag, but it doesn't come together every time. It just comes together more often on Arena, I think, is the main thing. This is going better for us, but we could easily be Gate Ablazed right here. Still not a reason for me, in my mind, not to play Ignis. We want to apply pressure, and the Inheritance kind of wins us the game anyway. But we may see a Gates Ablaze here. But then we just ping upkeep, ping 1, and then sack to deal 4. So we should have this unless we see like an Angel here. I guess that would give them some time if they found specifically 6 life off an Angel. There you go. Ah, but not good enough. We found just what we needed off the top. Yay, us. We'll do it with style points. Oh. Maybe. I was also thinking Mockery getting back the Colossus would be pretty funny. The trouble with anti-Colossus tech is that this doesn't work. They just play a gate and get it back. I mean, it delays it for a turn, and maybe that's the difference. But I almost feel like rather than draw a card that is dead otherwise, we're better off just trying to race. See you, Jag. So I'm going to pass on Deface for Colossus. We could put in Collision for the Angel, but I think we're just best off trying to be our aggro selves and get there. Like, maybe Scorchmark is the odd card out here. It doesn't seem to have much to in the way of Scorchmark targets. So maybe we'll do this. But we'll see. I wonder if we'll wish that was a destroy artifact. But yeah, I feel like I have a hard time going after the Colossus with one-time removal. Thank you for the sub, Broiled. Appreciate that. Oh, Jag was a gift from Jag. That's nice of you. If this were a gate, I might keep. If this were a gate, it would be keepable because we have a couple of 2s and Judith, and we're on the draw. But since it's not a gate, we have too much we need to find. So we'll mulligan. Sadly, I have to keep this and really hope to find a mountain on top. Or a gate. Take a gate on top. Well, we can cast some spells. Looks like Oppo mold 2. I didn't see how much, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're on. They mold to 5. That's rough for Oppo. Let's see if we can punish them. But I'm afraid of Quench here, but you gotta go for it. Well, we're digging our way out. I thought this looked pretty grim for us, but between their mulligan and then not putting much on the board, maybe we have a good shot here. Mammoth Spider, obviously pretty annoying for us. What can we do about that? We can't collision it, obviously. We don't have the green to do anything with the other side of this. We can deal 1 to it. But we're still far off, so it looks like we are trumpeting. Love to see a target for collision. Mammoth Spider doing serious work here. But it can't block Menace. The question is, do we want a 3/3 Menace or just get our Menace on now? I guess we want a 3/3 Menace, and we technically get our Menace on now, but you know what I mean. Alright, we're gonna attack with the Menace and make it a bigger one. Looks like Oppo can crack their locket if they need to now. They've got that mana. Alright, that was our big problem. And there it is. Yeah, Blade Brand is kind of our big out now. This was a big... And boy, do we want that artifact destruction? Yeah, I'll take that artifact destruction now, please. Over this collision. Well, we have something to go for with collision at least. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they even get to buff the Pteramander, but this is an instant, so we'll make them spend it on the Pteramander. And we'll certainly take this one. Actually, I'm not going to make them spend it on the well, if we make them spend it, we hold off the locket for a turn. That would be the reason to make them spend it. But then they'll wait for a block. And I think we have to attack in here. We can't just sit around losing to the 8/8. But I guess if our only out is the darn Blade Brand, then that's just our out, right? But let's... I'm just going to collision it now. It does allow them to use the locket, and I get that, but I don't want to let them block. And I'm saving the caster because we really do need it to find the Blade Brand and kill the Colossus, I think, to win the game. I know that's rough outs, but I really do think those are our outs. 8, 9, 10, 11 on the current situation. So now I'm deciding whether we sack a Roustabout. We basically attack with everything. We get an extra 3 damage in. Let's play this. That's what I was expecting there. So we do threaten lethal the other direction. If we can find removal or... So this is the drawback of me not doing the collision in response. But by doing it in response, we would have allowed them to block, and I didn't want to do that. So we're taking a chance with their extra cards off the top here. But we're threatening another pump here as well, which would make this 5. So 5 plus 3 is 8. So if this is all blanks, you know, maybe they drew 3 lands. If they drew 3 lands, they can't even attack with the Colossus. Because we're showing near lethal on a land draw. And this does 1 damage to each opponent. Alright, well... I don't think we, you know, if these are 3 land, we win, but let's not figure that that's going to be what's happening here. Is it? Wow! That was a good one. Found it, boys. Was not counting on those attacks to make it through, but somehow we got there. And perfect timing. 1 second, I'm going to talk to the plumber. Be right back. We are kind of at lunchtime, but we're also one match away from the end of this event. So let's just finish this event, and then I'll go grab a bite. Plumbing is getting expensive, it turns out. If anybody wants to watch an ad on my behalf and send me a tip, that would be that would be kind. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of work upcoming here, it seems. Thank you, Peacetime. Appreciate it. Okay, we got an actual curve out. So does Oppo, it seems. Hey, thank you for the sub. Way over 9,000. It's an American thing, I guess. Well, we're getting some good curve out cards here. We get a 3-drop now into a 2 2s or a 4, potentially into like a 3 and a 2 on 5. You know, if we draw another 2 and another land in our next 2 draws, we have like the ultimate Rakdos curve out. We have to make a trade here, but it's okay. We'll do it. And I like the 4 mana here. If we draw another land, this allows us to do a 5 mana turn with these 2 or these 2. So I liked either Inheritance or Wrecker here. And I think Wrecker is going to allow us to do more damage before the end of the game than the Inheritance will. Again, I want to cast Inheritance last. We want to get our full suite of creatures out battling for us, and then apply the additional pressure of the Inheritance. Another Juggler, maybe? No, Carrion Imp, but gets him some life, so that's pretty real. And since there's no use of the haste here, we'll go ahead and attack with both and then cast these 2. If we draw another land, we get haste and Inheritance. So really have spent all of our mana every single turn except and our first turn was the Guild Gate. So this is unusual in that I really believe we haven't missed a land drop, and we have spent 100% of the mana available to us. So that ought to be good for a Rakdos deck. Let's see if that pans out. Untapped land off the top would just be sweet. I don't think I've ever gone 1 to 6 before and ended up with no cards in hand, all of my mana spent, and every one of my spells cast. That would be a sweet moment, actually. I love things like that, so come on. Basic land off the top. Yes! Maximum value. Are we even attacking with the Artist, though? I think if we attack with the Artist, the Imp just eats it, so probably not doing that, but we'll send everything else. Actually, I just send it. Like, whatever. We're just going to send everything. We're going to drop the Inheritance. What are you going to do about it, really? You want to eat the Artist? Go ahead. Eat the Artist. What are you going to do about everything else? the perfect curve out. Really thought we had him there. Forced Mortify, but the Mortify helped him out. This helps us out. We can get rid of that imp, and then all their blocks are bad. Although I guess if we wait a second, let me make sure if we go to their face and they go to 2, we attack with everything. They still have blocks. I'm just going to take out the imp. Thank you, Middling Mage. I think you just gave me a penny, but I truly appreciate it. Wow, well, if the perfect curve out wasn't enough, what are you going to do? That was brutal. Like, I can't do it any better than that. So, when your Oppo beats that, what do you do? Oppo just beat something I've never accomplished in any game of Limited ever, which is to spend all of my mana turns 1 through 6. Scorchmark is at least good. I'm playing Dodger. Take out Dodger, put in Collision. But the draws just don't get much better than that without Judith, so if that draw is not enough, we need Oppo to stumble hard or we're not going to win this. You know. Had to put the skewer down on the bottom because we really want to get to Judith mana. And we also want to find 2 drops. Yeah, Judith and Blade Ran is something. It's something. Grandma is just the perfect card against our deck. I mean, we have... I guess Judith here is good. At least it trades the Roustabout for both of these. Thank you. We could demise the veteran, but I think I like making a +1/+1 shaman here. We did not see it in game 1. We've had worse spots. Our plan here is just try and race this. Basically, we have removal and, you know, falter effects. So we're just trying to hope that that's going to be enough. They got a lot of mana here, so I think something's up their sleeve, but we got some tricks too, so maybe our tricks will work out. We now have Footlight Fiend, which is another nice combo with Blade Brand. If Oppo attacks into the Footlight Fiend, we'll go for that. Oh. Well, I guess now we have to demise the Veteran. Don't pump it. Okay. Too bad. Too bad. Too bad. Got us while shields were down on our most important card. And we don't have a lot else going on here. Feel like we're going to lose to a Grasping Thrall next turn, but literally nothing we can do here, so I mean, I guess we could Blade Brand to find one of our removal spells to take that out of the sky. Maybe we actually have to do that. I'm going to go digging. No, but it is another castable creature. Well, if they found their other Thrall in the top two, we are just dead. Aw. Needed just a little help, deck. A little help. Just a little frickin' help. You know? Just a little help. You're late. Good game, but couldn't get there against the very, very good Orzhov deck across the way. GG Oppo. Thought we might eke our way to a 5-win off of that, but hard to complain about a nice 4-2 to start the day. I'm going to make a quick update to my spreadsheet so I don't forget the record. This is 219. We have a free-to-play one traditional draft of RNA. We chose to be red, black, red, and we went 4 and 2. We paid in gems. We got 1,800 of them back, and no gem grind because we're still in this format. And it was The Show Must Go On. That's the name of that deck. Not bad, not bad. 1 point of damage, yeah. So close. That was pretty good, though. I'm going to claim this prize.